What is up, FBI fam? We are back and super excited for this episode, actually. We've been keeping Rampage on our radar for some time now. So super excited to talk with Murdoch, see how it all started. But before we get into that, we actually have tons of stuff going on. So just want to give a quick shout out to Live Nation. They're bringing on tons and tons of shows for all of our basshead lovers out here in Denver, especially. We got Wobbleland coming up February 3rd. So we got Phase 1, Virtual Riot, COD Dubs, and they added Stone Level.
Yeah, Victims on there. OG Nixon's on there. It's going to be a hot show, you guys. It's at the Fillmore. You don't want to miss it.
Mm-hmm. And then for those of you who follow us closely, we also just announced Midnight Tea. So, of course, it's time to get juicy. I haven't seen Midnight Tea in a hot minute, so this will be a good one. I'm excited for it.
Catch us in the pits for that, man. That's where we meet most of you guys. So we'll see you there.
And also stay tuned. Subscribe to our newsletter on DUBSTEP FBI.com because we're also launching some new merch. So we had a little bit of delay with production. So thank you all for your patience. I know you're all asking where to get a beanie, where to get a long sleeve and a bag, but trust us, we are working as quickly as we can to get it launched. So hopefully by the time this recording drops, we'll have some new merch on the website. But if not, just subscribe to our newsletter and we'll keep you all posted.
Hell yeah, fam. See you at the rave.
FBI.
How you guys doing?
We're good. It's we work full-time jobs in case you didn't know. So we're like stepping away from our work right now. But yeah, we got our coffee going. So everything's we're cranking over here.
Cheers.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm in a different part of the day than you guys.
I would rather be drinking what you're drinking right now.
Yeah. But coffee isn't as bad. We'll be having some wine tonight after this.
There's a coffee part of the day and there's a wine part of the day. You know, there's a time for everything.
Exactly.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
And thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've been really excited to talk to you. I know it took a while to get this scheduled, so we're stoked.
Yeah, we're on quite opposite sides of the world, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just so everyone knows, where are you tuning in from?
I'm in Antwerp, Belgium. And awesome. Belgium is in Europe and our capital is Brussels. And like we're squashed in between the Netherlands, France, and Germany. And we've got the UK on the other side of a little bit of ocean in between us. So
you guys have good chocolate, good beer, good bass.
Yeah, the works. The works.
Yeah, you have it all. Chrissy and I we went to Tomorrowland back in 2018. And that's how we became super close. And pretty much after that, that's how DUBSTEP FBI came to be, which is crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. So you get to fly over to Europe to meet each other and get acquainted and started on something on your side of the world.
Pretty much.
Yeah. We coordinated with like some other girls that we went to college with, and it was kind of like a college graduation gift to ourselves. And we just did a girls trip around Europe. And then Chrissy and I just became super close after that trip. She introduced me more into like the underground dubstep side of things. I knew mostly like just like Keizo, Excision, like some of the bigger artists. But yeah, Chrissy introduced me more to like the underground scene. And yeah, this is just how it all came to be.
Sick. All right,
yeah.
Very cool.
And now we're here interviewing you, the legend.
and where are you based? Where are you based exactly?
We're here in Denver, Colorado. So we call it the bass capital. And we think it's the bass capital of the world, but some people say it's only the bass capital of America. So that's a debate we're trying to settle.
Yeah. Maybe you can help us.
I've seen the debate. I've seen the debate online. I think you're a good contender. I think you're a very, very strong contender. It feels like everyone and their cat and their dog has been moving to Denver to be part of that scene, and You've got so many regular nights and venues, clubs, outdoor, indoor. Really impressive stuff. So yeah,
have you been here before?
Yeah, I played the club final in Denver.
Club final.
Yeah, it was a very, very special, quite different experience because I thought Denver was a bit like. I thought it'd be a bit of a sleepy town in a way, like a quiet, you know. It doesn't have, let's say, the ring to it, like New York or Los Angeles or even a Miami or even a Dallas has to it. Not only in a good way but also in a bad way. I don't expect like proper hood shit out in Denver, but I got mixed up in some proper hood shit out there.
Wow.
Like cops and guns and just fights and shootings, and yeah, it was quite special. And it all happened during my set. So I went into club final. We played the basement. So I went into that basement. I stayed in there for 2 hours. I came back out and the whole neighborhood was taped off by police. There were police trucks everywhere. There were people in cuffs on sidewalks. Apparently there's been a fight, there's been shootings, and it all happened while I was in the club final basement. But I'd never expect to see that in Denver. I expect to see that in New York or in LA. And then I was like, whoa, my God, what the fuck just happened? And I was like, yeah, just standard Denver Saturday night. It's like, okay, really? Wow.
Yeah, that area is a little rough when the clubs let out. Like we don't really feel comfortable walking alone out there, but usually, you order the Uber and then you just get right into it. But it gets wild, man. So I'm not surprised that you experienced that.
Yeah,
I do enjoy a bit of a culture shock every now and then. It's one of the reasons I like to travel, and I also like to travel in the United States because it's such a different world from what we're used to. It seems to be getting weirder and weirder out there. Like
you can say that again.
Yeah,
it feels really alien out there right now. Yeah. Allow me to say it. But it's interesting. It's interesting to say the least.
Yeah. Well, we like going to Europe because it's a little bit more civilized, at least in my opinion.
And the food is better.
The food is better. I love architecture and history and culture and stuff like that. So I find myself admiring all the churches and all of that good stuff. So you guys have a lot to offer, just like we do on the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah. I traveled a bit in the States, going to national parks which are absolutely amazing. For a European that has been brought up on American culture, like all throughout my childhood, I've been watching American TV, American movies, and I still do, obviously. But being in America feels like being in a movie for someone like me, because you have cars that we don't have out here, you have buildings we don't have out here. Even like a 3-story brownstone in Brooklyn, it's such a filmic situation for someone like me, and like. This is a movie. I'm in a movie. Something, it feels like all these scenes that I've seen in so many movies and TV shows. So it's amazing going out there. I love it.
Yeah. So other than what happened in Denver, what are some other big culture shocks that you've experienced while touring out here?
Oh, you shouldn't have asked.
The list goes on.
It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty.
Honestly, I'm not surprised.
The homelessness, and the just the public drug abuse, and we just don't really have that out here in Europe. There's a couple of cities that are like magnets for refugees, illegal immigrants. Especially France has that because everyone passes through France to get to the UK, because in the UK you don't have passports and it's easier to blend in if you're an illegal immigrant. But a lot of them get stuck in France, and then you get these little, they call it bidonvilles because it's basically a city made up of garbage.
Like tents and stuff.
Yeah, just tents and cardboard boxes and that. And I never expected to see that, for example, like downtown San Francisco, which it's completely overrun. Another city that completely stunned me was it was in Texas, Austin, Texas. So first of all, it completely blew me away by being as lush as it is. So there's greenery everywhere. There's trees, and it just feels like this super lush, luxurious, natural area. And I expected to end up in the desert. I mean,
the Texas stereotype.
So 100% that. So that was amazing. I enjoyed that a lot. I was taken out by Justin Hawkes, who used to live there. So he took me on a tour of the city. It was amazing. But then in the morning when I left the city and flew out to the next stop of my tour, there's just homeless people and drug addicts everywhere that just really seem to take over after a certain point in the night. And it's like, I'm a big fan of The Wire, the show that sets in Brooklyn, Brooklyn and Baltimore, and they have that zombie-esque atmosphere of drug addicts just roaming around aimlessly. And that's what was going on in Austin, like everywhere, just like sidewalks, parking lots, bridges, just everything seemed to be crawling with zombie-like, drug-addicted, homeless people.
It's
really sad sight. Really, really sad sight. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we can kind of start solving some of those issues, especially with like the upcoming elections. And I think as the new generation, like our generation and the generation after us, starts to get into office, I think the younger people might bring some new solutions to the table. So I'm hopeful that we can start to fix some of those issues.
Yeah. I'll hope with you. I'll tell you something that it's a lot more on the positive side of things. And that is that in general, Americans are extremely welcoming people, extremely open people, very warm, very enthusiastic, very interested. Like you can have a conversation in an elevator in America.
Always.
Yep.
Yeah, it's impossible in Europe, especially in the more northern you go in Europe, the more colder it gets and the more close the people are. So I'm kind of in between. Like Belgium is not necessarily the coldest part of Europe, definitely not the warmest part. So we don't ever do that. You just don't talk to strangers. And in America, it's like you sit anywhere and someone will have a question for you, and it'll sound genuine, and it'll spark a conversation, and you might end up sitting there for an hour when we never even had to be there for more than 5 minutes. And that's something that's really, really, really cool about America, I think.
Yeah, I love that about our culture. It's funny because in 2019, I took my mom to Europe for the first time, and I'll never forget, we landed in Barcelona. We got on the train from the airport to the city, and she started talking to the person next to her on the train. And I was like, Mom, they don't really do that in Europe. You don't need to talk to strangers. I know you're trying to be nice, but that's a true tell that you're an American.
Yes, and also cover your backpack, cover your stuff.
Yeah.
And how did that person react?
They were just kind of like they just looked at her. They didn't really want to talk at all. They were kind of like with the face like, why is this woman trying to talk to me? What does she want? Kind of thing.
It's like people will think it's suspect in one way or another. And to be like, what's going on here?
Like, what do you want?
Exactly.
Yeah. There's got to be an angle here. That's got to be an angle that I need to figure out. But no, it's a really cool part of traveling in America. You just go anywhere and you'll end up doing stuff you didn't think you'd be doing. You end up meeting people you never thought you'd be meeting. And go America.
I love that. Go America, baby. Well, we want to say, first of all, congratulations on 15 years of Rampage. That is a huge accomplishment.
Thank you very much. I got to say, I do feel the same way. I feel like it's a huge accomplishment, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised every day, every week. I'm surprised that we made it this far, and it's become what it's become, and we've reached the people that we've reached, and it's had the impact that it's had, and it's amazing. It still is amazing to us.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, how did you get the original idea for Rampage?
Well, so I'm a DJ first and foremost. So I started out throwing parties because I didn't feel like the kind of drum and bass, the kind of music that I liked myself and that I wanted to play to people was represented anywhere. And I think like music in general, but the more underground it gets, and when I started out, it was incredibly underground. It gets gate kept a lot, and you had certain little small pockets of bass enthusiasts here and there, and they were really protective of what they consider was right for that music. And I never really, I didn't really fit in anywhere. So I started my own thing, and that grew and grew. And then someone said, I have a venue. What about you do what you do in my venue? And then I started the night in that venue. And then someone else said, hey, I have a venue. So I started doing nights in several venues in several cities, and every single one just started growing and kind of mutating into something different. And started from a party. The first party I threw was in a squatted building. And
like
I did a couple there.
An empty warehouse or something?
It wasn't even a warehouse. It was more like an abandoned house, just like an abandoned home.
Interesting.
And there was a gang of squatters that just occupied it, and they kind of turned it into a cultural center. And actually, maybe 10, 15 years after I started doing my thing there, it was actually turned into an official cultural center.
Oh, wow.
And it was still the same. And it was still the same squatters that were running it. So they've kept it on for so long, and they've done such amazing things there, not just in terms of party and music, but also like art forms like painting, sculpting, and just being just like a creative hub that eventually authorities were like, we're not going to even try to kick you out. Instead, we're going to grant you an official position, so no one can actually kick you out anymore.
That's admirable.
Wow. And this is in cool. Belgium?
This is in Belgium, yeah. This is in Belgium, just outside of Antwerp. Basically 10 minutes from where I live now. So I'm still in the same areas where all of this started. And then
you, just really quickly on that point, you being involved with it for years and then it becoming a cultural site, I feel like that says a lot about what you were doing for the scene as well.
Well, I mean, I would be taking too much credit to agree with you. But I think it was me, and it was a number of other people that were doing what I was doing, but in their field of culture. And all of us together, we made that thing into a cultural hub, because it was all there and everyone was doing their thing, and everyone was like doing something that you couldn't do anywhere else, which made the whole place, the place so special.
That's so cool.
And then I got asked to do an event at another place, also in Antwerp, and I just I needed to think of a name, and that was right around the time where dubstep was really booming, like the first like wave that kind of crossed over in dubstep. Like you had the 2005, 6, 7, 8 wave of dubstep, which was like really underground and really like really dark and really moody type of dubstep, and then people like Dr. P and Flux Pavilion.
Dr. P.
They gave it like a new twist. And that's, who else was there? Nero was there. They added a little bit of funky flavor to it. They added a little bit of commercial appeal to it. And it kind of started to cross over. So I started the event with drum and bass artists that also did bits of dubstep. So the first show we had was Subfocus, who was doing dubstep at the time. Yeah. And then we had Drum Sound and Bassline Smith, who were also doing dubstep at the time.
Wow.
And we had Danny Bird, who was like meddling with rave music and electro house music next to his drum and bass stuff. So it was kind of like, the idea was, let's do a drum and bass night where drum and bass is not necessarily the only thing that is going to get played, where there's room to sidestep a little bit. And that's where the idea for Rampage grew out of. So that was the first night we had. That's 2009. And we have Subfocus back again in February. So it's 100% full circle as far as that one goes. He was at the first one, and he's at the anniversary in 1 month.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy. Like, did you ever imagine that it would grow to where it is now? Like, did you ever?
Of course not. Of course not. I still have trouble believing it.
Yeah,
I
you
love
have to
that.
pinch
You're
yourself.
so humble. That's how Yessie and I are. Like, we never thought that DUBSTEP FBI would grow into this. I mean, it's only 4 years old, but still, we're kind of like, what is going on? Like, things are unfolding before our eyes. We can't even keep up with this.
Sick.
I know.
Amazing.
Like,
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, like it's crazy because last night we were just texting, and it's crazy how 1 year ago we were just at around like 13,000 followers on Instagram. Now we're almost at 44,000 followers on Instagram. Like, what is happening?
Right. Yeah.
Like, where did this come from?
Yeah. And it's cool because we get to meet people like you and other artists and stuff like that who just continue to inspire us to keep going.
Amazing. Keep at it. Keep at it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a wonderful thing, I think, in the culture that we're in. There's a lot of people that want to be involved in this culture, which to me, it's a sign that it's a valuable culture. It's not just some random pop culture, because people don't want to be involved with pop culture. People want to get a taste of it. They want to look at it. They may want to touch it, but they don't want to get involved with it. And in drum and bass and dubstep and bass music, you really see that people want to get involved in all kinds of different ways, even if it's just like juggling at a festival. But they want to do something. They want to perform in whatever way they can. They want to contribute in some form to that culture. And that's really cool.
What advice do you have for EDM entrepreneurs specifically?
I'd say the same advice I'd give anyone else, and that is do what you love, because it's gonna feel genuine, because it is genuine, and nothing can beat being genuine. If you're gonna come across as being genuine, you're gonna be accepted as genuine, and that's what people like. And then if you do what you love, it's going to be very personal. So it's going to be different from what everyone else might be doing. So you're going to stand out. And the third thing is, there is nothing to it but to do it. So if you think of something and you think it's a good idea and you want to do it, then you should just do it.
Yeah. What's holding you back? Just take action.
Because without doing it, it's never going to happen. It's not going to be a thing. It's not going to be out there. It's not going to reach anyone. Not going to get you out there. So yeah, I think that's just the main thing. And even you may never be successful, but at least you'll have had fun. At least you'll have done something that's valuable to your life, and maybe to a few people that you've touched along the way. But if you do something and it turns out to be worthwhile to the world at large, then they will pick up on it if it's genuine.
Yeah.
And you actually do it.
I love that.
And you actually do it. Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes that one of my mentors told me a couple years ago, and it's always hit home for me, is because people are always scared to take that risk, like even just starting a podcast or just launching something. They're just like, I don't know, like, what if I fail? I don't count those as failures. I count them as lessons. So it's like,
very much true. Very true.
They're not failures. They're lessons. Yeah. Like if here, even at DUBSTEP FBI, even at my full-time job, like if I'm not failing, then I'm not learning. And if you are failing, then you are progressing. You can take those learnings and learn to, improve on your personal development or your career, your business. Those are lessons and learnings that you can just take and move forward.
And even if you're doing it, you can't really fail unless you've set your goals too high. And I'm not saying you shouldn't set your goals high, but if you're doing something and you've actually done it, you have not failed. You may not have reached the amount of people you wanted to reach. Maybe you think you're going to be a superstar. Maybe you're going to reach millions of people and you haven't. But then maybe you've set the wrong goals. The goal should have been the accomplishment and not the success. Success is so secondary that it's not even consideration when doing anything. So 100% do it. Just do it, and you'll get the feeling of satisfaction from actually accomplishing anything.
And you can think of failures as getting you one step closer to your goal.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, my full-time job is sales. So each no gets me closer to my next yes.
Yeah.
So it's just
I
keep
learned
going.
that a lot from you. I like when we first started this, and we also manage artists too. So we're constantly pitching them out to get bookings and pitching them out to labels and stuff. And I got really discouraged for the first couple years, you know, when we would get those no's and the passes or no replies on bookings and things like that. And Yessie was like, you know what? Like, this is brand building. You're getting their brand out there. You're building connections, and it just one no gets you closer to that big yes. And that stuck.
I had a similar conversation earlier today with one of my artists where I told him, nothing that you're doing is a sprint. Everything's a marathon.
Exactly.
Actually, it's like what's the word? Estafette. You know that word? An estafette run. It's where you have different runners handing the baton to one another.
Oh, relay. Like a relay?
Relay, right. So what you're doing is a relay, like a relay run. Instead of having different runners, you're handing the baton to yourself every time. So you're doing one part of what needs to be done. And when you've done it, you hand the baton to yourself and you do the second part of what needs to be done. And you keep on keeping on. And in the end, you'll make it to the finish line. And that's how a career works. That's how a job works, how your life works. And it's not like I need to accomplish world domination right now. No, you don't need to, because it's impossible. What you need to do is do what you want to do, and then do what you want to do after that, and then do what you want to do after that. And in the end, you'll get there.
Yeah, I think it's about getting 1% better every day, right? Because if you do one little thing, little thing every day for the whole year, at the end of the year, you'll have 360 things that you've done to make you a better person. So just one little thing.
That's how a gym routine works.
Exactly.
There you go, yeah.
Just add a little bit every day, and you're so much more stronger by the end of the year.
Because people will do like maybe like a 2-week workout or something, and they're like, "Oh, where's my 6-pack? Why am I not fit?" And it's like, that's not how this works, buddy. Like, I don't.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. That's so cool. Well, actually, I know we kind of like. I've been loving this conversation so far, but I'm really curious to hear from you. I mean, I couldn't even imagine what it's like to throw a festival, let alone two, because you have Rampage Open Air and obviously Rampage. I don't even know what it's like to throw these festivals at this scale. So, and then you're also a DJ. So how do you find that balance between, running Rampage, but also running Murdoch, like your artist side?
Balance. I'm not one for balance. I think I see people burning out all around me all the time. I'm lucky that I'm not the type of person that knows that feeling, or I never run into that kind of, situation or whatever. And funnily enough, someone asked me this question 2 days ago. And I do a lot of different things. And sometimes, you whatever you do, any type of job you do, even if it's a hobby, there's always like peak moments in what you do, right? Like there's moments where it's busier than other times. And in all the different things that I do, because aside from what you just mentioned, I also run a couple of other parties. I manage artists. I make my music. I A&R to record labels. So I consult for festivals. We have 8 parties outside of Belgium with Rampage right now. So there's a lot of different things that I need to juggle, but it's rare that these different activities peak at the same time. So it's like you know what's coming up. You know the deadline that's coming up next month. You know the deadline that's coming up in 3 months. So you know how to pace yourself and when you need to do what. And very rarely some of these actually coincide, and that's a tough one. So I have to sweat it out. Actually, I'm right in the midst of one right now, because my album is coming out next week. We've got 15 years of Rampage next month. We're dealing with 3 negotiations for festivals and parties outside of Belgium. I've got 2 release parties next week. I'm working on the audiovisual show for my album show. So there's a lot of things happening right now. So I'm in that spot right now that I usually try to avoid getting into. But at the same time, I know that I'll be out of that spot next week when the album is out and the show is done and the release parties are behind me. And then I've got Rampage 15 years anniversary to look forward to and to build towards to. And then it's like one straight line towards the open air festival. So yeah, it's a bit of a juggle, and it's tough finding balance, and sometimes it's impossible to find balance because, you know, what needs to be done needs to be done. Like I just said, there's nothing to it but to do it, and that's just what I keep in mind. It's like it just needs to be done, and once it's done, it's over. So, you know,
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Light at the end of the tunnel. Keep your North Star.
There you go. Light at the end of the tunnel. It's just like that. Yeah.
Wow. And I thought me and Chrissy were doing a lot. That's crazy. But yeah, I think what's actually helped me a lot, and Chrissy knows this, is I'm forcing myself to be offline and like not check my email, not, you know, like obviously like I'll answer Chrissy and our other business partner, Joe, like obviously I'll answer them. But when it comes to like coverage inquiries or anything else, like in my email, I'm like, nope. Do not disturb. I'm going to stay offline and I'm going to rest because, you know, having this full-time job, it's very demanding in itself, and then managing artists. And at the, you know, around this time last year, we were also managing Welcome Records. So that was a lot to juggle as well on top of everything we're already doing. So I think just having that one day where you just force yourself to not do anything, it like really helps, at least me, clear my head.
Good for you. I gotta say that I find that there's a generation of people that are very good at turning that whole side of things off, and maybe it has something to do with kind of growing up with mobile phones and internet and social media and all of that. Because I did not grow up with all of that. That all came after I was already an adult. So this is something that just got kind of thrown at me. And I kind of feel like people of my age, my generation, that have a lot more trouble with doing that. Like I'm in that spot where you are, you know, I'm in that same state of mind. I'm like, you know, it's just a phone. You can let it ring. It's not a problem. You know, you can
turn it off. I love that mindset. Let's print that out and put it on the wall. Let it ring. It's not a problem.
Yeah. But a lot of people really cannot do that. I'm like, you used to just have a phone at home. And if you weren't at home, the phone would just be ringing. And you probably wouldn't even have a voicemail at home. You know, you wouldn't even have an answering machine. So the phone would be ringing and you wouldn't be around. So you wouldn't be picking up the phones. And why are you picking up the phone right now? It's not a convenient situation. It's not a convenient moment for you to be answering anyone on the phone, but you're still answering your phone. There's no need for it. And I see people doing on the job, in public places. I'm like, you know, you can call this person back in 5 hours or in a day. But
yeah. My thing is, kudos. if it's important, they'll leave a voicemail. I always say that to Chrissy. I'm like, if it's important, they'll leave a voicemail.
There you go. They'll leave a voicemail. They'll send you a message. They'll send you an email. They'll call back the next day. I mean,
exactly.
The world will still be turning a day later, you know?
Yep. We need to remind ourselves of that. And for me, I've actually found it easier to disconnect. Like right when I wake up, I set the intention, like I'm not checking social media right now. I'm just going to go about my day, get started on work. Because I feel like the second I start checking social media, I'm letting like 200 people into my head and I already have all these things bouncing around. And then my focus is on the phone for the rest of the day. So for me, I'm trying to get better about waking up and not checking my phone right away.
There you go. It's a good start. It's a good start. Yeah. It's a good start. You know, these people, they're a lot smarter than us. The people that invented the phones and the people that are making these apps, they're a lot smarter than us. And they're very good at keeping your attention and drawing your attention and just, you know, they'll fuck up your life, you know.
That's true.
I mean, these companies are designed to do that. They're designed to get your attention and keep your attention. And every second they get your attention, they're making money. So they're very, very good at it. They're always gonna outsmart us, and they're gonna be better than us.
Exactly.
So it's very good that you set those kind of goals and just make little changes that just free up space in your mind, that free up space in your day, free up space in your emotions.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just not in control anymore.
Self-care.
Definitely.
Baby steps.
I mean, how are you going to feel if the first thing you see in the morning is 20 people having more success than you are, or looking like they have more success than you are having?
Literally, then you start second guessing yourself and you lose motivation.
I mean, you get up in the morning and you're not the best looking version of yourself. And you turn on your Instagram and you see 15 people looking absolutely amazing. You're like, fuck me.
Literally.
Yeah. It do be like that though.
Definitely.
So
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to take Chrissy's advice here and be better about not checking social media, because lately that's all I've been doing, checking the DMs on FBI accounts and just making sure that, there's not any emergencies or
there never are.
I'll go back to the first part of our conversation and something that I not only enjoyed, but still enjoy about being in America. So you guys are like 7 to 12 hours behind on us, right? So I fly out to America, I kind of fly back in time. So which means that if I wake up in America at 9 or 10 in the morning, it's 4, 5, 6 in the afternoon over here, which means if I turn on my email or my Instagram or my WhatsApp or whatever, I'll get all the emails and all the messages that I've received all throughout the day. I'll answer everyone in one go. I can turn everything back off because office hours are done over here. Offices are closed at 6, 7 by the time I'm done answering everyone. And I won't get any replies. I won't get any messages back till 24 hours later when I wake up again, 9 in the morning, 10 in the morning. And it's super convenient. And every time I'm in the US, I'm like, I should do this at home. Just 4 or 5 in the afternoon, just reply to everyone and then just turn everything off for the entire day the next day. And then at 4, 5, 6 in the afternoon, it'll be like, all right, I'll reply to everyone again. And you'll find that, I mean, that's what I found. Life just goes on and everything gets done and nothing gets left out. And it's fine.
Well, we actually got several submitted questions for you. We'd love to move into the submitted questions round if you're ready.
Go, hit me.
Cool. So MF Victor is asking, when you're not listening to D&B, what do you listen to?
Okay, so I'm an original hip hop head. So before anything else, I listened to hip hop. When I was 10, 11, 12 years old, my whole world was hip hop, and kind of stayed like that till I was probably 15, 16. I started discovering electronic music and different genres, but yeah, still a lot of love for hip hop. I'm wearing a shirt that says Juicy J Kent.
I love that. Good old Juicy J.
I love Juicy J. I love very conscious music. I love very intelligent music. I also love blatantly ignorant, stupid music.
That's my kind of rap.
The way Juicy J can do it. So hip hop. I like hip hop, and I like a lot of different types of music. My downtime for me is soul music, classic 60s, 70s R&B, music that's from way before my time, but I just find soothing to the soul. Just love for music in general, basically.
All right, Sharon LaFranza, do you like the old or the new dubstep more?
Never really been a big fan of that whole bro step sound. So the whole the very heavy dare out sound that kind of pioneered by Skrillex and then everyone that came after him. What I do really, really like is the old school wobble type dubstep. And then what I really, really love is rhythm.
I love rhythm.
And how rhythm, for me, rhythm is like the reincarnation of that old school sound. They do what the old school guys used to do, but they do it like, I shouldn't say more efficiently, because it kind of sounds like they didn't used to do it well back in the days, but I kind of feel like it's more efficient. Like it's just like, it just goes straight to the core, you know, these rhythm fake outs, and just everything is just like maxed out in terms of dB, in terms of everything, every frequency is just locked in completely. And yeah, I just really like that stuff. Like guys like Infect and Murdoch. I remember their back-to-back set at Rampage.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
just like goosebumps all over, you know. Yeah, I love that stuff.
I am so jealous that we didn't get to witness that in person. Oh my God.
Oh, that was so good.
I would have been an absolute feral rhythm rat.
Yeah, I would be in the crowd pit for that one.
Damn, yeah, I was too. I was in the crowd for that one. I witnessed their first drop. I witnessed them opening the set. I witnessed their entire set. It was really good. And shout out Infect and Murda. Yeah, really good guys as well. Good artists and good people.
Yeah. Another legendary one really quickly would be the Toog and Goot set from last year.
Oh, I missed it.
Oh, you missed it? I missed it too.
I miss so much that happens at these festivals. I get called
You're probably
away.
running around.
Yeah, you're probably running around like crazy.
Yeah. I finally was able to book DJ Marky at Rampage Open Air last year. He's a Brazilian drum and bass DJ who's an absolute master on the decks. He's got impeccable style. He's got impeccable taste. And I was so happy that we managed to lock him in. And then like 45 minutes into his set, I realized that he was on the decks and I was on the opposite side of the festival and just tried to run over to catch 10 minutes of the set. I was like,
oh my gosh,
idiot. And then there's DJ Craze, who's an American, who's also like an old school, like a veteran hip hop DJ who's got so much love for drum and bass. They actually started playing drum and bass. And we managed to book him, and I missed his entire set. I was so pissed off.
Oh man,
but that's how it goes.
It happens. Duty calls.
It happens. Duty calls. Yeah, and we'll bring him back.
But you have a golf cart, right? That you get your own golf cart to run around with.
I do have my own golf cart, but I only use it at night at the after parties because I'm running around all day so much that I don't even get to use the golf cart.
That's fair.
But I make up for it at night.
You get your steps.
Yeah, right? Okay, there you go. That's worth more than.
You can track your steps.
Yeah. I actually don't. But one of my colleagues did like 140,000 steps that weekend. So
oh my gosh.
That's kind of that's kind of like the average of the amount of steps that we do in an open air weekend.
Love it.
So when people say, do you run marathons or half marathons? Yeah.
Kind of.
Right there.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
All right. So next one, SP. Who was your inspiration to create DNB?
I mentioned DJ Marky. He's definitely one of them. There's a couple of people that really, because what I really like about drum and bass is that, let's compare it to like house or techno music. Yeah. So you've got a certain style of house music. It will have a certain genre of house music. Like you'll have hard techno and you'll have tech house and you'll have techno and you'll have old school techno and you'll have Latin house and you'll have happy house and you'll have, in drum and bass, it's all in one genre. So you can have something that sounds Latin and something that sounds jazzy and something that sounds techno, but it'll all be in one DJ set. That's what I really like about drum and bass. And one of the people that really did that very early on is DJ Marky. And there's a couple of other people like Total Science who did that as well. So some of those guys are really an inspiration. Have always been an inspiration to me. My friend Netsky has always been an inspiration to me as well. He's he's definitely a legend. And he's one of those guys that lifted what used to be called liquid drum and bass, which up until that point was like quite mellow, quite soft, jazzy, soul-inspired drum and bass. And they kind of took it into a completely new, vibe territory area where it was much more dancefloor oriented and had a lot more impact and was a lot harder, a lot heavier. And I love playing that stuff. And, you know, we mentioned Subfocus, we mentioned Camel Crooked. Those are all guys that are kind of part of that same wave. So that's always been an inspiration to me as well.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back through and listen to some of that old school stuff.
We love liquid drum and bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best. The best. It kind of has everything as well. It kind of has everything because you can have a jump up bass line in a liquid track, and you can have like techno sounding keys that still keep it liquid at the same time. So yeah, it's a really like all encompassing vibe in drum and bass.
Oh my God. My alarm is going off.
Got a fire going? Got a little fire going?
I know. I was like, who's got the police department down there?
Barbecue time.
This alarm is always going off.
Wait, your alarm in your apartment?
My alarm is going off.
It's funny how no one seems to care about alarms anymore. I was playing in Bristol a couple of months ago. I was in my hotel and the alarm went off, and it was like a fucking deafening noise.
Yeah.
And I stepped outside in my room and there was no one in the hallway. And I was like,
yeah,
I'm not the only person in this hallway. I mean, these rooms are all occupied. No one seemed to care. And then I was like, all right, that I'm not going to care either. I went back into my room and the alarm shut off. And then 5 minutes later, it started going again. And again, no one in the room. And then I saw this guy from personnel walk by and I was like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, I don't know either. And he's like, went about his way. I was like, okay. Why do we even have alarms?
Literally, I feel like people don't take them seriously. Like they always think it's a drill when it's going off. And they're like, they're just kind of like, yeah, no worries.
I texted my roommate. I'm like, is there anything going on? Do you see anything?
Well, we have one more submitted question that we can get through right now.
Let's go.
So Wayne Roper, he's asking Murdoch times Excision collab. Is that ever going to happen?
Murdoch Excision collab. That's an interesting one. I would definitely not say no to that. It could be cool smashing together of worlds. We've had Excision over at Rampage, and I'm kind of planning on going to Lost Lands next year.
Lost Lands is insane.
Yeah, I've heard they've stepped it up so much. Last time around, I was so impressed. So yeah, I got to see it with my own eyes. So maybe that's the topic of conversation when I'm out there. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Collab win. Yeah, that'd be sick. That would be different from his normal stuff. So I feel like the fans would be receptive to it. It would also probably help spread D&B around here in America.
Yeah. Because he's kind of like an advocate for it, right? Like he's been playing a lot of drum and bass, and he's been turning on quite a few drum and bass artists, booking them for Lost Lands and what's the other one called?
Bass Canyon.
Bass Canyon, that's the one. So yeah, I feel like it's definitely something that could happen. Yeah. So yeah, good suggestion. Nice one, Wayne.
Yeah. Nice one, Wayne Roper, whoever you are.
Yeah, wink, wink.
Still going on? Oh, man.
Well, whenever you're ready, take your time.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, well, I just have a question. When are you coming back to America? I know you were just here, but do you have any other plans?
Yeah, I'm coming back in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm doing, so my album release is next week on Friday. And I'm doing the first album launch show in Germany this Saturday. And then I'm doing the next album launch show in Antwerp next Saturday. And the week after that in London. And the week after that, I'm flying to Los Angeles to do Respect, to launch the album there. And then I'm doing San Juan in Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
We have a launch party there as well. Yep. And then it's off back home. And then it's until, what's that thing called? The festival in Tulum, Locust in Tulum. And I might do another American date while I'm out there as well.
Well,
so the first stop is 8th of February. It's Los Angeles, the first American one for me.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, if you have plans to come to Colorado, we'd love to meet you, get lunch with you. Chat.
Oh, sick. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. And I would love to go out to Rampage in general, like, especially open air. Like that's like high on my list.
Well, I can only advise you to actually do that because you will not be sorry.
A lot of the artists are chatting about how it's like one of the must-see festivals. Like I was with Mad Dubs the other night and he was basically just like, I'm so excited. Like I can't wait to see what else they do with the festival. And everyone only speaks really highly of it.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Yeah, we're very proud of it. I think if I'm allowed to toot my own horn for just a second, but I do think that we do an incredible job, and a lot of that, or most of that, is down to the team that we have and the people that we are lucky enough to be working with, who are also, even if they're only employed by us or just couple of times a year, actually work for us, and the rest of the year they do their own thing and work for other people. They always seem to be very much involved, like very caring about us and the brand and the event. And I think everyone that comes there, whether you're a ticket buyer or you're an artist or crew, you do feel that everyone is putting in, everything they have, to make it just such a special place for everyone, just a special moment, special weekend for everyone that's there. So the artists love it, the crew loves it, everyone that visits there, people make friends, build friendships for life across borders, across continents. And yeah, it's truly amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And I sometimes forget, because we get caught up in the whole organizing aspect of it and the financial side of it and the production side of it. And there's so much work and there's so much paperwork and there's so much communication. But then I had a really, really cool moment when I was invited to do an interview at a radio station, and they asked people to send in whatever they want to send in about the festival. And they got flooded with people just sending how much they love the festival. I met my wife there. I met my best friend there. Oh yeah, like I got proposed to at Rampage. I experienced this, I experienced that, and just all love. And the presenter of the show, she was moved to tears. She had tears going down her cheeks, reading these messages about how heartfelt and how genuine it all was. And I was standing there like lump in my throat, everything, it's times like that where you get to stand still and be reminded of how special it actually is. Because I mean, to us, it's like you work for a year to get there, and then it's like four days and 4 nights, and they're over like that,
Yeah, exactly.
Just like blink, and it's Monday morning, and they're like, all right, so that's that. On to the next one,
Next year,
yeah. But everyone else is just like still completely engulfed by the emotions and the experiences. And so yeah, it's cool to once in a while just stand still and face that's actually the case. So yeah,
I mean, also like the fact that you're creating a space where people's lives are changed for the positive. I mean, that's like the biggest mission of being a human, I feel like, is helping other humans. So it seems kind of like that's what you've gotten at with this brand. It's a lot to celebrate.
Well put. Yeah, well put.
Oh yeah.
Alarm is clear. Woo! Hallelujah.
Winning. I knew if we waited it out, we'd be good.
I was like, we'll be good.
Yeah, let's get through this lightning round. We don't want to keep you all day. I know it's dinner time out there. Well, I'll kick it off over here.
Let's go.
What city in Europe is the bass capital?
Antwerp.
Oh, Antwerp. Okay. That's a new one.
Yeah, without a doubt, actually.
Cool. I'll take it. We usually hear Budapest.
Nah, why would it? I mean, I don't see it. I mean, all love and respect to everyone doing their thing, but Antwerp has Rampage, obviously, and it's the biggest in Europe, maybe even in the world, especially for like an indoor show. So there's that. But plus, you've got a shit ton of great producers here. You've got all these different other events are going on. You've got the biggest jump up drum and bass parties in the world are here. You've got Invaders, Inceptions, Prolic. You got so many different ones. The biggest, longest running deep drum and bass night in the world. It's not in Antwerp, it's in Ghent, but Belgium is so small that if we'd be America, we'd be one city, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm saying Antwerp, but I'm really saying Belgium, you know?
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Like, and I wanted to say Star Wars, because that's the longest running deep drum and bass night in the world. And there's no other drum and bass night in the world that attracts 1,500 people for events that has that sound. So yeah, there's a lot of reason for it. There's a lot of reasons. There's a couple of reasons why you may want to say that it's not Antwerp or Belgium, because aside from Rampage, in general, people aren't that big on dubstep, so we don't have that many dubstep parties. And I'd probably say that like Budapest will definitely have more dubstep parties, and maybe like Paris will have more dubstep parties than we do. But I think in terms of numbers, as far as the amount of parties go and the amount of party goers and the amount of producers, I think we're a really strong contender. Yeah.
Yeah. You make a convincing case.
Thank you.
All right. So we're sending it to Rampage Open Air.
I gotta wrap my set.
All right. Next one, Ableton or FL?
Ableton.
Word.
FL is Belgian. FL is Belgium,
oh,
right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. FL is created by people in Belgium. It's obviously an international thing now, and it's a multinational. But the creator of FL, the designer and the original entrepreneur, they're both from Belgium. But I never really got into it. Like, it just never worked for me. The same way Cubase never really worked for me, or Logic Pro never worked for me. I tried it, and I couldn't get into it. You know, just kind of threw me off or something. I don't know. And Ableton was just like, dove in and felt like a fish in the water from the first second I used it. So yeah, Ableton all the way for me.
What is the strangest venue you've ever performed at?
Oof. The strangest venue I've ever performed at. That's a tough one.
We've heard like some like prison cells or like abandoned warehouses, like in the middle of nowhere, that were sketch.
Yeah, I'd say I don't. Well, I've played all of those, but not the prison cells. But I've played like abandoned warehouses, and I've played places out in the sticks somewhere, places that looked super sketchy and turned out to be super sketchy.
Yeah.
But one night comes to mind where I was booked to play this night, and when I got there, all I saw was a restaurant. It was a restaurant, and it had the name of the venue that was on the flyer. I was like, this can't be right, because the festival actually had the restaurant actually had people in it, so it wasn't like it was an abandoned restaurant. It was an actual working restaurant. Turned out they had like a medieval basement. Ooh. You know, like these round brick ceiling type things, you know. And it felt like a medieval basement. It looked like a medieval basement, like, you know, bit. I'd say dusty, but it was too moist to be dusty. You know, that kind of.
I know that smell.
Yeah.
So that, and so I'd say I'd go for that one. I think that's the winner here.
Got it. Yeah, that sounds very strange. Kind of sounds like a speakeasy where it's like hidden under the restaurant.
Yeah. I gotta say, it was very cool, and it was a great night. I wouldn't have remembered it if it wasn't a great night. It was a great night. It was a good vibe. It was a great party. Yeah.
What country was it in?
It was in Antwerp. It was in Antwerp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was in Antwerp. And I live in Antwerp, and I'd never been there before. So you can imagine how well hidden it was.
Love that.
Sounds like it. Cool. Who are your producer best friends?
My producer best friends. I'll name a couple of people that I really like. So there's a couple of people in Belgium. Start with Used, Andromatic, Bass Tripper, Primate, Captain Bass, Mace. Those 6 are like, like the chosen 6, you know. They're like
the squad.
They're like the generation, and they're like something like that. Like, and I expect really, really big things of all 6 of them. I get along really well with Justin Hawkes. I mentioned him earlier. I like AC13. He's a UK drum and bass producer. He's absolutely hilarious. I got to mention my MC Mota. We've done a bunch of tracks together. There's Doctrine, he's kind of off and on in drum and bass. At the moment, he's not doing any drum and bass, but he's one of my good friends, and he's absolutely hilarious, and he's a wizard in the studio. So I definitely need to name drop him, and I'm gonna probably forget a bunch of people, but I think I've mentioned some that are definitely really dear to me.
Jeez, you got a lot of friends.
Mr. Popular over here.
Or I could say acquaintances. That's good.
Acquaintances.
That works as well. Yeah.
The homies.
Yeah, the homies. That's a good one. Let's stick with that one. Let's go with that one. The homies.
The homies.
What is one country that you want to play in?
So I think Japan. Japan is way up there. I haven't been to Japan ever. I haven't played in Japan, obviously. So yeah, I'm really curious about Japan. I've got a couple of people that often fly out there and work there. And they always have these cool stories. There's a lot of the chances of culture clash or culture shock are really high out there. So that's something I look forward to. They do a lot of stuff really differently than how we're used to doing it. So that's something that's going to be really interesting, I think. Just this week, someone got in touch from China, and that really triggered me as well. It's like that's pretty interesting because that's one of these countries where you really don't know anything about China.
Literally.
Yeah, literally, you don't know anything about China. You think you know, but you don't.
It's very closed off.
There you go. So that's going to be an amazing opportunity. So yeah,
that's cool though. You'll have to let us know how it goes.
We'll do. We'll do. I'll come out to Colorado after that.
Yeah, we need a debrief.
Yeah, you need to come out here and we need a debrief.
Yeah.
That's good. We'll do a follow-up on this one.
Right?
So what's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on stage?
I've fallen off the stage several times. There was a night where I was so drunk that I rewound the same track about 6 or 7 times.
If it's nice, play it twice, baby.
Or play it 6 times.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I said that, and I said that 5 times.
I want what you were having.
That's how everyone else felt. It was a great night. No regrets.
Yeah, that's not embarrassing if everyone had fun.
Who cares about embarrassing?
Yeah. I'm sure everyone in the crowd was tweaked out anyway, and they didn't even notice that you played 6 times.
I mean, only one life. YOLO,
YOLO, baby. That's the motto.
There you go.
My boy Drake.
You go. So yeah. So maybe it wasn't even embarrassing. It definitely wasn't embarrassing to me because I wasn't conscious enough to consider it embarrassing. But maybe in hindsight, you could say that's embarrassing.
For sure. That's funny. 2 more questions for you. What is your pre-show routine?
So I don't really have a pre-show routine. I'm always good to go. So I can basically step off a plane and go right on stage and just be ready. Really what I need is about 3 minutes of really, really loud music. So that's basically the first track that I play. And as soon as that first track has kicked in, I'm good, and I might be sleepy and I might be nervous and I might be sick and I might be whatever. But as soon as that bass kicks in, I'm fine. I'm good.
There you go.
Yeah. So no pre-show routine. If I do have the time, I'll have a glass of champagne or 2.
Nice little toast.
3.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
Champagne on the rider.
Yep. 100% champagne on the rider.
Nice. All right. Well, last question for you. Who are some upcoming artists that you think deserve more recognition?
Okay, so I think I've already mentioned 6 of them. So yeah, because I'm always like, we're over here in Europe, and drum and bass is a very UK thing. It originated in the UK. UK is still very much the stronghold for drum and bass. They kind of call the shots as far as festivals and artists and labels and stuff like that goes. So I think because of that, we're very supportive of what goes on our side of the pond, which is probably one of the reasons, because I'm not patriotic at all. I couldn't care less about any of that, but I do feel like it's the people that I know that are close to me, that I talk to often, they're amazing, amazing people, amazing musicians, amazing artists. So whenever I get the chance, I shout them out. And yeah, so Used, Andromatic, Primate, Bass Stripper, Captain Bass, Maze are some of the people that are doing really well and deserve to do better. And we've got a whole new bunch of guys coming right after them. I've invited a lot of them to the release parties I'm doing in a couple of weeks. There's Blanco, Atmos, Michaelia, Sonia Tribe, the Midas Touch guys, In the Lab from the UK, SYD LDN from London. So yeah, there's a bunch of guys bubbling that are doing absolutely amazing, and I'm sure we'll see push through in the next coming months and years. And I look forward to seeing it. I love to see that shit happen.
We got some new music to listen to.
Yeah. Check them out. You will not be sorry. You will not be sorry.
If you have like a Rampage playlist or like any playlists that have all of these artists that you mentioned, we love to
I'll shoot one over to you. I'll shoot a playlist over to you, and you can add it in bio or in stories or whatever for people to link to, and you can enjoy it yourself. And I'll put together a nice little playlist with all the people that I just mentioned. Yeah, I'd love to give them some more exposure.
Of course, yeah. And if there's any coverage opportunities or anything, we even have like a Spotify playlist called DMV Detectives. So send those over to us. Yeah. We're always happy to give as much coverage as we can, especially for the international artists that are trying to get to the US.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah,
amazing.
Let's do it.
Other than the fire alarm that happened earlier and everything.
That's a new one.
That's a new one. So that's the end of pretty much the podcast and everything. So do you have any final words? Yeah. Do you have any final words that you'd like to say to the audiences?
Yeah, just thank you for shedding light on what we do and what I do. And just happy that you guys are trying, are willing, are being part of the scene that we're all in, and being part of the community and help spread the word. It's just such a beautiful thing about this community that we're in, this culture that we're in. So yeah, kudos and keep up the good work.
Thank you. And good luck with your album release parties. Congrats on that. Congrats on 15 years.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully we'll run into you in person at some point this year.
Well, I maybe final last words is I think in the not too distant future we'll have some amazing news for all the people in Colorado. So yeah, look out for that.
All righty. We'll stay locked.